Hey, good morning, guys. What's happening? If you ask me that question, I would say not a damn thing. But I mean, you could look and see right here that there's nothing on the scan. It is blank this morning. Yesterday we had all of these um, oil and gas stocks that just flooded the scan. We don't have anything right now. Nothing on earnings. Absolutely nothing. If you're gonna pick a day to take off, this would be the day to take off. Um, so we'll see if anything kind of pops up at any point that's gonna meet our criteria. That's kind of the deal. You're gonna have stocks moving, but does it meet our criteria? And if it doesn't, then we're not gonna see it on the scan. So we'll look through the main gapper scan here. We'll kind of buzz through it, see if there's anything on it, because a lot of times we do get stocks that have the move, but they have a little bit higher float. I mean, like BP. I mean, BP has all the volume in the world. It's got $1.65 gap, but the float's high. And the reason why I don't like to trade higher floats is because it takes a lot more volume to move. And when you're in low volume and low volatility markets like we're in right now, these higher float stocks typically don't give you, solid moves unless they get, a lot of people focused on that one stock and you get a lot of volume. So let's run down. So all I do, I'm just scanning for volume, and once I see, big volume, I just look to the left. If it's these penny stocks, I do not trade these low dollar, low float stocks. I like them to be, at least $20. Now I will trade stocks between $15 and $20, but I really like them to be over $20. That doesn't mean they won't be manipulated, but there's less chance of it. And if it is, you've got a lot more people with clout that could be on your side. Um, okay, We're gonna talk about Shopify here in a minute. I'm looking at that for an all day hold. I saw it. I wish I was sitting here yesterday because I sure as hell would have jumped on it when the news came out. But I wasn't at home sitting in front of my computer. All right, let's see. We got GLW here. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I want to see what's up with GLW. And what I use is Finviz. I just type it in. I could quickly look at the daily chart and see what was happening. It rejected the 90 I believe that's the 90. The 90 and the 20 look too much alike. These colors are too close. But you can see where we are rejecting this level. And so we're gapping down this morning. So we're not opposite the trend. And let's see, the new Apple was iPhone supplier, Corning. So I don't get this. Okay, here's the six. This is what happened yesterday after the close. Corning stock drops after display optical outlooks cut. All right, so this has a negative impact on the stock here. It's what caused it to gap down even more. So this, to me, would be in play. It does have over a 500 million share float, which prevents it from hitting our scan, but 778 million is not bad. I mean, it's not bad. I filter it down. I'm use the $500 mark because that typically gives me the stocks that have the best opportunity to move. All right, so let's take a look at GLW. All right, so you see the big gap here, 52-week low. $26.78. I don't know why I didn't snap to that, but let's get this thing edited. So we flirted with the 52-week low here. We flirted with it, but it hasn't broken through. We get through and we make a 52-week low. We may see some good selling. We may get a decent sell-off here. So now let me check. See if my boys here at SureTrader has any shares. And I like to look at it, see, do we have shares to short? Is it shortable? And is it on margin restriction? Because the way I look at it, man, why is it taking 10 hours to load? The way I look at it is if SureTrader has it on margin restriction, it's bad. Yeah, I mean, Apple giving them money could be good news, but it doesn't matter what we think. What matters is how the market digests it, and that's what we have to trade. We could think it's good news, but if the market says no, then that's who we follow. Yeah, plenty shares are short, not on margin restriction. So this one's definitely in play today. Maybe the only one in play today. Yeah, one thing that I figured out in dealing with this market is you it's best not to have a bias, period. It's best to have a plan that could go either way. And that's why if I'm looking at a stock, even though if it looks like it's a long trade, if it doesn't have shares to short, I typically don't put it on watch. I don't want to watch it because it can't go either way, and the market can go either way. No matter how good the setup is, it can go either way. The market can be selling off. The stock could be looking like it's set up for a short, and then all of a sudden buying comes in. And it goes the other way. It gives you a long setup. So you got to be ready. Got to be ready. All right, so GLW is our watch, and you see where we found it. It was on our main gapper scan. Oh, I hadn't finished marking the levels, but we found it right here on our main gapper scan. Just looking for stocks that have volume this morning, and then I just kind of scan over. And you can see it's got the float right here. I've got it on the scan. That's the float. There's the price. There's the gap. It's over $1. That's all we're looking for. But it's actually $2.88, 9.7% drop. So that puts it, in play today. And we look over here now. Obviously, earnings are our number one catalyst, and we're at that period. We're in that lull between the absolute end of the earnings season and the beginning of the next earnings season. So we have like 1 month before earnings starts kicking off again. So we're just kind of in that lull right now. And if you ever want to know, when does earnings season start? Just look up AA, which is Alcoa. They typically mark the beginning of earnings season. When they're reporting, that's typically the beginning. So you see October 16th. So that's when you're going to start to see a big flood of companies reporting earnings. And it lasts for about a month. And then it starts to slow down. But if you ever want to know when the earnings season typically starts, that's just a simple way you could tell when it starts. And it's always unofficial because we have stocks reporting earnings throughout the whole year. There are some like these, like FedEx, Adobe, Chewy, all of these, they're on their own deal. They're not following everybody. Cracker Barrel, they do their own deal. So they're not grouped in with a lot of the other companies. So you're going to have earnings spread throughout. But there's just like 1 month where you get most, like 90% of the S&P 500 will report. So it makes for some wild times. All right, so Shop. Let's look at Shop here. Now, I was looking at this, last night or after the close yesterday. Shop reported that they were doing a secondary offering, and typically when that happens, the stock's going to tank. That's what you see. And if you're in a position to trade it when the news comes out, that's always a good short. But a lot of times we're not. A lot of times we wake up the next morning and we cut everything on and we see the stock gap down. It was announced that there was an offering and it's already done. So that's kind of what we see here. Now, it reported early enough yesterday that if I was sitting here at my desk, I could have actually traded it. We had a really nice drop. If you could see, it's almost like earnings. It just looks just like an earnings drop. But they announced it and the bottom fell out. You know, it put in a low here, 316, what was it? 316.39. And I was looking at this as a potential all-day hold. Now, these typically don't trade well for day trading. Like the opening range trades, you're looking for stocks that's going to give you some good volatility at the open. First 30 minutes, stocks make huge moves. Sometimes they're a little bit faster than I like. I don't like things that move that fast, but sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But they give you good multi-point moves in the first 30 minutes of trading. And the catalyst has a lot to do with it. So when you have a stock that's already reported that it's already reported that it's got secondary offering, typically you're not going to get any big moves. You'll get, if anything, you'll get an all-day sell-off. And I was looking for that on this. But you can see there is a ton of support in through here. And they're holding the support. So let's see. Maybe mark it right here. So you can see they're kind of holding this support in through here. We haven't really made a higher high yet, but so, you know, the thesis is not dead. The trade is not actually dead yet. If we break this high, if we break that high, which is a high pre-market, then my trade plan of an all-day hold for this to the short side is pretty much dead. Now, will it? It may be a long. You know, it may give us a good long trade. But the idea of it going to the short side is dead. And you can see already we don't really have a whole lot of volatility. And not a lot of volatility on this stock. So, you know, tight range. For this stock, this is kind of a tight range. Because you're looking at an ATR of like 16 bucks. And see, the low is 319.55. The high deviation band is 322. So this isn't a huge window for a stock that can move 16 bucks a day on average. So unless this level breaks, this support level here that built in, unless that breaks, that short thesis is dead. I thought it could bleed down into like 310 or something like that. But you can see it's just being held up. So SQ just popped up. Let's see what's up with it. Do we have any news on SQ? Mm-hmm. There's some speculation about its guidance. Looks like they have some negative guidance here. All right, let's take a look at the chart here. Let's take a look at the chart. See SQ. See what SQ has. SQ. Yeah, hold on for a second, guys. All right. So it just took itself out of that dollar gap. You know, it's got to have a dollar gap to hit our scan. So we had the big move up, and it took itself out of its dollar gap. This is kind of interesting. It looks like the guidance it had weaker guidance, but it's gapping up. Or it's pushing up, and that's what got it. So let's mark 6188 is the 20 here. 6188. All right. So we've got some nice windows in here. Do have some nice windows in here. to the downside if we pull back. It's kind of crowded to the long side. Kind of crowded to the long side, but it's in play. And that's the main thing here. Yep, so we will add SQ to the mix. We will do that. SQ. And but it is the odd thing is it is already breaking outside of its deviation band, so maybe that'll pull back and get caught up with itself. But I'm surprised Roku has not made any noise this morning. And typically makes a little bit of noise, but it's not. It's really quiet today. It's sneaking around. Sneaking around. All right, so looks like we've got only two stocks on watch this morning. I've got SQ and GLW. Not sure how well this is going to work. We just have to wait and see. Wow. What a dead morning. All right, so we'll lock this in. Sad watch list today. Sad watch list today. But like I said, it's gonna be slow the next couple of weeks. But we should get some. We should find one or two every day that's gonna move. It's just a matter of um, being in the right place at the right time. And I didn't get the recap yesterday because when by the time I was waiting and waiting and waiting for SureTrader to fix that situation, and when I went back on a little bit later yesterday, my whole account was wiped, so I couldn't get the rest of the information for the trade that I did take yesterday. So I'm waiting to see if they're going to put that back on. I mean, I know they will at some point, but I couldn't get the data that I needed to do the reflection and the recap. Well, Trading Demon, SureTrader is working well. Work with me on that. I emailed them. It's funny because within 10 seconds of the execution, I had a gas. I had stopped to get gas before I got lunch. I had the gas receipt had the same timestamp. It was 10 seconds off of when the execution was supposedly happen. And then I sent them the lunch, the receipt from my lunch. This isn't the first time that it's happened. I don't know what or how things get screwed up. But I thought it was gonna be on me because I should not have left it up, and I probably need to log out when I walk away. I was just letting it run. You tell your broker what happened. I mean, that's all you do. You tell them what happened and see if they will work with you. They could go on and see. I think they can dig a little deeper and see, what actually happened. So, yeah, but I didn't have a pending order. That was the whole thing. There was no pending order. All right, so there's not a whole lot to look at this morning. Not a whole lot to prepare for. Because this is typically the time between between 9 o'clock and 9:30. I'm watching the stocks that are on my watch list. And now I've only got two. So I've only got two stocks I'm watching. So I'm watching SQ and GOW. And since there's only two, it's only one monitor. So it's not a whole lot of anything I have to do but just to sit here and watch. Looking at GLW, I see some buying momentum coming in, some buying pressure. And everything is starting to trend up away from the 52-week low. That's interesting right there. So it could be that, we since 8 o'clock, or really since 7 o'clock, you've got people coming in, waking up, who might have been short, taking profit. Yep. And so SQ is pulled back within its deviation band. So it's coming back in line right now. I think Shop might have already killed itself. Let me see. It may have already killed itself. Yes, it has already killed itself. You can see, and that's what I was telling you when I was looking at this, and you can see how support was holding here. It holds support, is dead. Now it could, run up all day, but that's not what I was looking for. That's not what I'm going to trade. So no, it could not get below this. And this was kind of the line, the line in the sand here. Well, we were looking for that, but that's not happening. It found support here, and now it's pushing up. So that's a no-go. GM was pretty nice. GM worked out nice yesterday. But see, it's the thing about these stocks like GM, lower price stocks, beautiful trade, but they don't move very far. See, that's the issue. Lower price stocks, you have to size up just to make some money on these. But this is the one that I was telling y'all about yesterday. You know, it had bad with the strike and all of that stuff. You would expect this to just sell off all day. This had a higher float. This typically doesn't move a whole lot day to day. But when you have a catalyst on it like this, it's probably going to bleed. Now, I was thinking this would get to 35, but it just couldn't make it. So that was that. GLW. Yeah, I got GM yesterday. Everything that I look at, every one that I'm looking at, if I see something that morning, I'm gonna let you guys know what I'm looking at. Yep, I did. Let's go back. I didn't mark the longs. I didn't mark the levels to the long side. And I'm not. God damn it, man. What the hell is wrong with this? When I have it set, you need to stay where I put you. It's like it has a mind of its own. All right, so here's the levels that we have on GLW. Oops, missed this one. Damn, I missed a couple. It's a lot tighter than I thought. Yep, it's a lot tighter than I thought. No, I didn't get a new computer. My same computer here. All right, so let's get locked in. Let's get locked and loaded. And I'm telling you, I don't see either one looking good for opening range right now. I don't see either one looking good. All right, so what are we looking at today? LY, I use SureTrader because that's what most of the people I work with use. I've had them for 5 years and don't plan on changing my small account to anybody else. Now, I trade out of this because you guys need to see that there's nothing wrong with trading with SureTrader or any other small account, and that there's a specific way you have to trade in order to make money in them. So the goal is to grow out of it. I grew out of it completely 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago. But I'm not the type guy that's gonna just sit here and tell you about it. I'm gonna be about it. So that's why I do what I do. All right, so GLW is working, man. This thing is pushing up. It did not like its 52-week low. It was like hated it and came all the way back. 28.60. This is where things get crowded right up in here. That's where things get a little crowded. All right, so here is the 52-week low. And this is what we're looking at on GLW. This thing has recovered and it is pushing up. I don't see much up here. So if it sets up long, I doubt very seriously if I'm going to take it. Oh, you caught that in living color reference. You caught that. All right, so I got GLW and SQ. Now, SQ can be a really scary trader here. It can be scary. 59, 89. So I'm going to have to give it some time. You can't rush anything. You've got to let this thing settle. All right, so we're getting ready to rumble here. But this is what we do every day. Oh, this is the quiet before the storm here. I just don't want to make the same mistake I made yesterday by going. I was supposed to be going long and I went short. And I messed up. Don't want to make the same mistake. I got a little excited. I didn't take my shot of THC yesterday morning. That's what it was. I gotta get my THC shot. That's gonna keep me calm. I don't need no TLC. You can't get paid with TLC. That takes your mind off of what you're doing. We need to stay focused. Is this thing still moving? Yeah. Okay. No, we don't. You don't need to smoke weed. You just need a shot of THC. All you gotta do is just fly out to Vegas once a month, stock up on some gummies, and you're good to go. Oh wow. We got a dip here. Let's see. Gotta be patient. Man, no forcing anything. Patient, let the market come to us. That's what we're gonna have to do. And this is why we just wait. We always wait for the open. And here's a pre-market high. So we always wait, because this was like, everybody's looking there. This is a long. This is setting up for a long. And it sells off, and then if you jumped in early, you're probably going to stop out. And then it turns around and goes your way, and then you're like, God. So got to be patient with these things. Ooh, Roku's got a nice little pop there. Now, some more aggressive people will buy this on the break of the pre-market high. Like right there, bam. That's where they'll buy it. And you got people that are looking to sell it who are in long here. They sell on the break of the high because they know a lot of little retail traders like us are buying. So they're selling into our buy orders, which is what gives it a little, hiccup here. So let's take a peek at GLW. See, GLW is coming back a little bit. We'll see if it gets under here, if it gives us a short opportunity. Now, always keep these up. because what I've noticed now, a lot of times these stocks that have shares of short, they disappear like that. So, but I don't want this to the long side. I don't want to trade into all of this. Even though it may work and it may blast through all of that, that's not what I want. It's not what I'm looking for. All right, so we got the first 3 minutes done. So I'm going to mark the high. And I can adjust this if it continues to push. I don't understand why this is jumping around on me. I'm going to have this set so I can have it marked. So this morning is just trading a little bit sketchy. So you want to kind of stay ahead of the curve. You want to mark the... I usually wait for the first 3 minutes to print, and then I can start marking the high and low. Then I can adjust it as we get deeper into the candles. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Still like SQ to the long side if it can do what it needs to do. But I don't like GLW long because of all this we're running into. I just don't like it long. So let's see what we got here on SQ. SQ short scares me too, but I like it better than... Damn it. This thing slipped on me. It slipped on me. It slipped on me. It slipped big time. I hope it doesn't come back to bite me. It's going to hurt me in profit potential, but I hope it doesn't come back to bite me. Here was a 5, the break. I was trying to get in just under here and get this flush. I was looking for a flush all the way down to the 100 on this volatility. That's kind of what I was wanting to see. But it hung up. The order hung up for a minute. It said pending, 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 and then it finally went through after this thing had dropped too far. So I'm still looking to have to cover some here on the 100. So that's where I'm looking to get my first cover if we can get there. The profit's not going to be what it should have been, but I'm off by about 20 cents. So let's see if we can get it down I'll set it after the first couple of candles prints. No, Rich, it's because I'm live streaming on YouTube. It typically creates some lag in the internet. It's intermittent, so it's a hit or miss type thing. It's not quite getting to the 100 like I need it. And it sucks. I'm looking for at least 59.35. But this is not doing well. Sucks. The best I can hope for is a close below the 50. If it closes above the 50, I need to see it close below the 50, not above it. And then I might have a chance.
OILD.
Come on down, man. So I got my first wish. We close under the 50. So let's see if we could get down and tap this this 100. It really seems like it doesn't want to do it. I'm gonna put a bid out just in case. But I was hoping we would get some solid price action here, and we're not getting it. We're just not getting it right now. All right, so I'm not liking what I'm feeling here, but we're still in play. I'm not going to kill it just because I don't like what I feel. We're still in play. You don't really know. But I have to put my stop in just in case it rips. So it's got that feel. You look at the 2 minute, you can see where it's bouncing on the 200 on the 2 minute. And we don't like to see that. So I'm gonna throw my stop in, and we'll see. But we're not dealing. We don't really have a whole lot of volatility, which is what was one of my concerns. If we're fortunate, we get it early. And after the first 15, 20 minutes, it just kind of falls off. This fell off after the first 5 minutes. And typically that's not good for us when we're trying to catch an opening move.
OILD.
And this 59.50 is holding up. It's holding up pretty darn good. If we can get a big wave of sellers to come in and drop this thing down, we'll be in good shape here. Somebody's got to want to see this down. Now, the lower deviation band is dropping, which is a good sign. It is a good sign. So let's see if we can get this down to where it needs to be. I'm going to kill that for a second. Let's see if we can. Well, you know where my stop is at 60. So I'm looking for 59.30 or better. But that 59.50, you could see how it's reacting to that $half mark. Okay, so we're right. Oh, come on.
Yuko.
Man, that sucks.
OILU.
It didn't. I was a couple cents off of being able to cover some. Dag nabbit. I was a couple of cents off. See if it gives me another opportunity. Doesn't look like we're going to get another opportunity. For some reason, this thing wants to bounce. Come on. So here we go. Come on down. We're right on it. All right. So we covered half here at 35. According to plan, we were right there. I was kind of on the sneak tip, hoping that it would suck down into red to green and give me another 15 cents or so, but I had to take it there. So we're looking to see, can it get through red to green? And you're gonna have this level here to deal with.
Oxy.
The support that got put in pre-market. We're gonna have this to deal with next. So my stop's gonna have to be back at break even in case the move fails. And again, remember this, actually I'm about 20 cents off of where my entry should have been. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with here. So the profit's not going to be where we want it to be.
CLR.
It's not going to look as good as we want it to look. But whenever I'm live streaming in the chat room, but then when I add the live stream for YouTube, sometimes it gets a little bit sporadic. And it just so happens that this order, when I put it out, it got sporadic. All right, looks like we're getting a bounce in, so we're not going to get that second move. Doesn't look like I'm going to get that second move, so. But today you have also have to look at what kind of market we're getting today. It's not that good of a market. Look at this SPY. Since 99% of the stocks that we trade are on the S&P 500. Look at the first couple of candles here. Big indecision candle. We have a top and tail, a bottom and tail. It just can't figure out what it wants to do. But if you look at all the moving averages, look at VWAP, everything is pushing up and trying to give it some support here. So you see, this is telling me that we're going to try to push. But looking at this, that's the 5-minute opening range high. And it's having a hard time establishing outside of that. So this is what we're having issues with. Right here. So if it gets up and it establishes above that, then we may be getting some push here. So we got stopped out of we got stopped out of SQ. Now here's GLW. The reason why I'm not looking to get short so soon, we got to take a step back. Always take a step back. Look at what the trend is doing. A lot of people will be ready to jump short here if it breaks the 20. Got to be patient with this. You got to look at the trend. Look at what the overall trend is doing. This is going to keep you from making bad decisions. So once you break the trend, then we may, have a chance for a good short. But as long as that trend is holding, you got to be careful with it. But like I said, to the long side, I just don't see enough room to take the trade. It's just hard for me to visualize taking the trade. SQ, I thought would have been a great trade if we kept, especially if we get under this. We go red to green or green to red. I'm going to be looking for the 200 here.
VLO.
Unfortunately, now, had I got in when I wanted to, I'd still be in this trade. It would not have taken me out. I'd still be working this. But this is what a bad entry does.
VLO.
No, Matthew, I don't like doing that. Because it could flash down and pop on you and you're in the trade. So I like to be manual because I like to go by feel. Man, I should have looked at
VLO.
taking shot long for an all-day hold. It looks like this thing wants to recover. And I should have known that from that support holding all through pre-market. I should have known this was going to be along. That told the story right there. And this has been an uneventful morning. An uneventful morning. All right, so here's my MO. This is my method of operation here. You get locked in. You take a trade. Obviously, the stock that you trade is going to be the one that you felt you had the most confidence in. Obviously, that's going to be it. So you want to stay locked in or stay somewhat engaged to this, because if it continues to set up, you're going to get these bounces. When you hit significant levels of support or resistance, you're going to run into a lot of traders going the opposite way you're going. You're going to have people that are looking to buy this off of red to green. You're also going to have people taking profit that were short. They're going to be covering here. And so you have to almost expect some type of a bounce if you're taking profit, because you're not the only one smart enough to take profit there. And so this is what we get. Now, what happens sometimes is when you see a bounce and it starts to give you some good momentum, let's say it breaks the high of this candle, you're going to have people like, oh yeah, this is what I want. And they buy. But guess what? When you hit this next level of resistance up here, you're going to run into another supply zone. And you don't know whether there's going to be a bunch of sellers here or a bunch of buyers. And it looks like when it hit, you ran into a bunch of buyers because it's been steadily taken out. It took out all of these people that were selling up here. Here's a indecision candle right here. All right, so now we're getting this nice bearish candle. It's still early. We're still 1 minute into this candle. But so far, that's what we've got. The thing is, you've got to wait for this candle to actually close before you get the full spectrum. Okay, because here, this was a solid green candle at one time. And now we ended up with a pretty weak, the weakest of all of the green candles. Mix that with the indecision candle here, you got a potential of the momentum shifting. The question is, who do we have here at the 100? Who's sitting here at the 100? Do we have more buyers still sitting here that's going to take these sellers out? You know, that's the battle. These are the battles that we watch all day. And it's really, really interesting if you understand what's happening.
Gold.
It's really interesting to watch. And it's never dull. Because if you're short, you're pulling for the sellers. If you want to go short, you're pulling for the sellers. You know, to me, there's no long trade up here. There's no way I'm buying into all of this resistance. You know, for me, that would be the dumbest thing I would ever do. I need to see the price action. I don't know if you went through the last two classes or the first two day trading classes, but the second one when we're talking about the candles and we're talking about the formations and what they're telling us. That I'm looking at that to tell me who's in control. What we're seeing here, if you're paying attention or you've been looking at this for a minute, you saw buyers come in off this level. You ran into kind of a two-edged sword here, a double-headed monster. You had red to green or green to red, where you have people sitting here. This was probably people's target from the short up here. Some started selling at the 100 like I did. Some were going to wait till red to green. Or if they didn't get there, they're going to start dumping here. And so you saw buying coming in. And this was a strong green candle. When it hit this level, sellers popped in. And in between, we've got pretty much an equal battle here between buyers and sellers. Now look at this candle here. We sold off, ran into buyers. It got bought up, ran into sellers. You've got the 9 and the 50 converging. So you got double trouble up here too, just like you had double trouble down here.
Gold.
And all we're doing is we're watching the price action. And we're comparing what we're seeing. We're looking at the volume. This is what tells us the story. This is the story that we listen to every day that tells us, hey, do we need to take a trade or not? Right now, we do not need to take a trade. Because look at where we're caught between support and resistance. Now watch, we're coming down. Let's see what happens when it gets back to the 100. If it gets back to the 100, if we start to see it getting bought up, you know, we know that we're just stuck in a rut between a level of buyers and then a level of sellers. And until one of those breaks, we're stuck. There's no trade.
Gold.
And honestly, guys, it's days like today that if you sit back and watch and really look at what's happening in the price action, you're going to learn a lot. And you're going to learn when not to trade. And that lesson, I think, is more important than learning when to trade. Yeah, Shop, it just made up its mind too late. It made up its mind way too late.
Gold.
Let's see, we move over to our other watch. Look at it. It's holding support here, but look at the levels. Look how close and how tight these levels are. We break through this, say at 28. The 100 is 25 cents away. I'm not looking for a 25-cent move. Some people, and this is why I don't like trading penny stocks, because those stocks don't move much. They'll move 15, 25 cents, 30 cents. In order to make money, you got to be sized up. But what happens if somebody comes in and slams it the other way? And you're in 1,000, 2,000 shares. So instead of making, $300 to $600, you just lost $300 to $600 in a matter of seconds. Lower price stocks are easier to manipulate. It doesn't take as much money to move them. And I tend to stay away from those. Oh man, Roku snapped or cracked. I was kind of looking at that. But it cracked that level. And daggum.
Gold.
And God, this is why I say the best learning takes place in the chat room. You can't learn this stuff watching a video, reading a book, attending a webinar. You can't. You have to see this stuff happen live every day because it's different. Every scenario is different. Every trade, although it may look the same, is different. You've got to experience it. All right, so we're watching now. Let's look at SQ, right? We're watching this trade in between these levels, right? What is it doing? Take a step back and look at what this thing is doing. Let me see. I'm gonna take some of this stuff off. Let me see. All right, so look at SQ. Look at what SQ is doing. If you take a step back, this is what you see. That's what you see. Way down yonder. What does that look like to you? change the color. Maybe that having it red might not be good here. White will stand out better. This is why sometimes you just got to take a step back, because we can get tunnel vision watching the movement in between the little levels, and we miss this. We miss this opportunity. Yes, it can go either direction. That's what we're looking at. But what direction is it more likely to go? What are you seeing here? Is this a bullish setup or a bearish setup? Where is it more likely to break? Yeah, more likely to break down. There's no guarantees, because you know there's no guarantees in the market. But it's more likely to break down. And the problem, and then what you're going to run into on the breakdown, you want to be prepared for that level there if it breaks down. So it's just a matter of waiting. It's just working itself in this. As long as it keeps getting squeezed together, as it gets more and more squeezed together, it's going to pop one way or the other. But if we're just looking at it in between levels, it's hard to visualize that. So that's why I see you got to take a step back sometimes and take a look at the big picture as well. That's what you would be looking at. But like we say, there's no guarantees. It's almost a 50-50 shot when you're in that triangle of uncertainty. So that's why you can guess, but that's when we lose money. I could say, you know what? I'm going to guess on this because it's a bearish setup coming. I can guess on this. When we hit this and reject, I'm going to short it because I'm looking for this thing to fall. And guess what? You get blown up. Or you can guess long and it doesn't do anything and you get blown up. So you have to wait. You got to let this thing play itself out. Got to let it play itself out. And see, now we're about, if we break the high of all of this, look at where we're running up. But I can't buy into all that resistance. That's not going to be good for me. The only way I'd buy it is if it's over this level here. That's the only way I would go long. So these are the lessons. These are the solid lessons that we have to learn. We had a bearish setup, but it broke to the long side. That's why we don't anticipate.
TRGP.
Well, there was bounces off support and resistance. It wasn't just support. There's support here, there's resistance here. It was bouncing off both. You have no idea where it's going to go because you got higher lows and you got lower highs. If you guess, it's 50-50.
TRGP.
All right, so if I bought this, it'd have to be over the high of that candle right there. All right, I'm giving it a second. Seems to be struggling a bit. My finger's on the trigger, but it's struggling a bit. Well, and this is exactly why I keep the 5-minute opening range high and low on my chart throughout the day, because it sure as hell reacted to that.
SPWR.
Oh, I lost my market clock. There it is. Got to keep an eye on my market clock. That tells me when lunchtime is.
SPWR.
Tells me when lunchtime is. Yeah, so I'm thinking today is done. We're not getting any follow through, any sustained movement. If you look at the SPY, tells you the whole story. Look how ugly this is. It's trading in a range. Look how ugly this thing is. Es muy feo.
SPWR.
If we get a bounce on Roku, I'll take it, but not without a bounce. We get a bounce and a rejection, I'll take it, but not without a bounce. Here was a support level that held and it bounced. This was a level of support that it held all through. And this is what I was looking at. I was watching it sit and bounce on that support. Bounce, 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 bounce. Come on, I need to pay for my lunch today.
UWT.
It looks like that's all I'm gonna be eating today is a damn mac chicken. I'm gonna have to go get the dollar meal, hit the dollar menu up. Man, everything is just slow, 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 slow. Man, even Roku doesn't have any volume today. That should tell you something. Oh shit. I got to do what I got to do, what I got to do. Mais oh yeah. JWN. Man, that's a hell of a bounce on Roku. It's more of a bounce than I was looking for. I mean, it looks like a trend continuation, but I don't have the levels or anything on it to see how much room you got. I get in Roku if it sets up. It's got to set up. It looks like the next level I have is 3171, but that I don't know how old that is on JWN. Don't know how old that is, but it does look like it's got some. Does have some room.
UWT.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. No, I'm not looking to trade it long. I don't want it long. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy into all of this. I was looking for the bounce and the rejection so I could take it short. Definitely not looking long. But right now we're just not, it's not ideal. This is not ideal trading conditions. Unfortunately, it is not. It is not. I'm not. I would not trade this thing with 200 shares a day. Or 300. Maybe 150. I'll do half. I'll do half size if I trade it. Yep. Here's that support that held up really good before it cracked. Let's see what kind of resistance this thing is gonna put up. Or is this gonna just trade through it? No, my entry would be on a rejection and confirmation of that rejection. But it looks way too strong right now. UWT, that's a ETF. Yeah, this is the sad, lonely life of a day trader. We're sitting back waiting for the market to give us an opportunity.
Win.
See, TRGP, looking at the reversal scanners now, we're after 1030. This one I think is too weak to bounce. I think this is probably gonna sell off some more. But this wasn't a solid enough bounce. If I would take this, it would have to be off of the 200 here. And this didn't give a solid enough bounce. Plus, you know, we're real close to that $50,000 threshold. Anything trading under 50,000 shares of volume per 5-minute candle is dead meat. Can't mess with that. Let's see, what's Win doing? Now here's potential reversal on Win. Problem is the 9 is so close. The 9 is so close here. I need to get up a daily chart real quick. I'm gonna have to start doing this on another computer. Because this is just too much for this one thing to bear. All right, so we had some support here. But we've got a level. We've got a daily level right here, and it looks like it reacted to it already. So this isn't a clean reversal attempt at all. We don't have the clean chart. And then 114.50. And I would like to catch this trend continuation down and ride this down the rest of the day. But I don't think it's going to have a whole lot of volume. This was dead. Dead. So nothing really showing up on the reversal scan. Only thing we're just kind of waiting on right now is see if Roku's going to reject up here. It's trying, but this isn't a good candle. Look at where we're sitting. I know we're still early in the candle, but the body is still sitting up here. So we need to keep an eye on this.
GPN.
Ba, 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 ba. I don't know where the hell the 20 is. This thing is just, this is, I got too many crazy conflicting charts here. Hold on a second. Let's get this chart up. Well, you can see when here's 113.13. You know, you can see this is why I would like to short this. Now, bear with me. This is going to take 2 hours to set up. Ah, shit. Chinga tu madre, hijo de puta, wait. Damn, this thing is so frustrating. Any day now. $146.88. That's what we're looking at. This is what we're looking at. I've got to remember to fix these charts after the close. By the time the market closes, I'm done with the day. Because I've got one set on SMA, one on EMA, and they need to be both EMA. This is not looking like it's coming back. This looks like we're going to take a march up. And that's exactly what it's doing. When is the one? I wish we had gotten closer. And I don't want to chase this down. But I think this is the one that I probably should have jumped in. Just not going to chase it down. Well, I don't think we're gonna get locked in on another trade before lunch, so I just don't see much. I don't see much in the way of volatility. It's been a really slow couple of days here. We need, maybe there, everybody's kind of holding their breath until the Fed makes, comes out with their decision this week. That's what we were thinking yesterday. So that might be, what's holding everybody back. Yes, they removed it and everything. They wiped the whole day off the books, but I expect them to put the first trade back. But I'm not gonna say anything. Let's see. Yeah, the Fed makes this decision tomorrow, so we may be a little slow until then. All right, so here's the bounce back to toward the 9 I was looking for. Trying to wait here. Let's see, daily. Now I need to change the studies. And actually, I need to add. And that's where the 20 is on this. Well, this takes me into lunch. I mean, there's really nothing going on. Uh, only thing I like is this win if it rejects, but the volume is just not. I'm kind of not comfortable with the volume. How did he get out of that? I guess money gets you out of everything. Jeez. Lucky. Lucky, lucky, lucky. So I was kind of trying to wait for this. But it's not happening. It's not happening. Not happening. But this is what I'll be looking at during lunch. I've got to sign off here. I believe I got a session today. Let me check. Let me look at my schedule. Yep, I got a session. So, that's going to kind of do it for the morning. Very, very uneventful. But this is the kind of morning that you could just, hurt your account. Trying to chase a trade, trying to take these trades where you don't really have any volatility, you could really end up going in the wrong direction. So hopefully you're able to pick up some of the tips that I use to read price action with, some of the things that I look for before jumping in a trade. Like I said, I'm not that jump in these penny stocks looking for a quick 30, 40 cents with big position size and jumping out. It's just not what I do. I stay the hell away from it. It's an easy way to hurt yourself, especially if you're trying to trade and grow a smaller account. it can really break your heart. So I stay away from all of that stuff. But hopefully, excuse me. So we're gonna keep going through this in the class. Tomorrow we kind of wrap up price action. We're gonna look at some important price action candlestick patterns. We're putting all of that together from what we learned on last week and moving into some more technical analysis. So we're just putting pieces of this puzzle together, and we're trying to make it as simple as possible. All right, so we triggered here. I'm gonna go ahead and take a piece of this. So we triggered an entry here. So I'm looking for it to run down to 145 and then through there. So I'll be looking at that during lunch. We were just waiting for this to trigger to make a lower low here and see if we can get the trigger. I'm not trading full size because this is just a crazy day. You just don't know. So we'll see what happens here during lunch. So thank you guys that came and hung out with me on YouTube. Hopefully you guys got a real good understanding of what we do every day. This is what we do every day. I think the best learning comes from the chat room and watching actual trades happen, and that's what my focus is on. So we'll try to do this a little more often. I don't know if every week will work. It just depends on my schedule, but I'll try to do it every week. But the goal is to show you guys a little bit more often what we do and why I think it's, very, very important. So thank you guys for hanging out, and I will catch you next time.